So I remember I had a great amount of health anxiety. One of them was around a bump I had for many, many years on the bottom of my chin. And I was going off thinking about what it could be. What if it was this? What if it was that? Cancer, tumor, anything, whatever it could be. I had a lot of anxiety around that. And that was, I think, our initial time that we worked together, where you helped me to dissipate a lot of the fears, anxiety, the what ifs, all the negative self-talk I was doing, the loops that I was running through doing all that brain training. When we were able to do some of the brain training exercises on that bump and what it symbolized and what it represented in my mind, um, I didn't realize so much of it was connected to the way I felt about myself. And when we were able to kind of do exercises where we were to, kind of look at it in the eye and talk to it and give it a message or whatever it was that you helped me through, towards the end of it, I remember feeling so peaceful with the way that I left it in my chin, to the point that every day what was normal for me was to feel it every day that I woke up and just check it and make sure, like, is it there? Is it in pain? Is it whatever? But after our session, it got to the point where I started to forget that it was there. It wasn't getting in the way of my day-to-day activities. It wasn't causing stress. It wasn't causing worry anymore, because we were able to dissipate a lot of my fears and my anxieties, my emotions, my negative self-talks around it. So to this day, I hardly ever check in with it. I hardly ever touch it, because I forget that it's even there. So it's been amazing how my brain has completely just switched, and I don't feel that stress and those fears with it anymore. I've had other health like sensations, or in my body I've had sensations that have caused a lot of worry. It was my loop, it was my pattern of always worrying at the first feeling of something new in my body. And through the brain training that we've been doing together, um, I have been able to feel it, recognize it, but not run off with this story of it being something, that's gonna kill me, or being like a terrible illness, or that I'm gonna die, or it's a bad disease. I've been able to catch that and flip it and change it to something where I'll feel the sensations. There's something that you mentioned to me, which is that whether it be a panic attack, whether it be any sensation, it doesn't last forever. So remembering that, just kind of riding the wave of that sensation and then just letting it pass and flow, has been very, very helpful whenever I feel any other physical sensation in my body. And just to go along with what you had asked, the way it had affected me is when I was very worried about every single sensation I felt, every single health concern, it took a lot of energy from me away from my family, my kids, my husband. Every time my husband would like check in with me or text me, I was always, my energy was very low, very, very anxious. And although my husband was trying to support me, that also affects him. And when my son would want to play and do fun things together, I wasn't into it. I didn't have the energy for it, because the worrying and the anxiety it drained me so much. And
Yeah.
so when we were able to like change that, make more peace with it, I had so much more energy for my family, to play with my son, to be able to spend time with my older kids and with my husband, and feel good,
Mhm.
not forcing myself to pretend to feel good. I was actually feeling good and feeling energetic. Yes. And it doesn't have like sensations the way that I feel it did before, where I could feel like it was trying to call my attention. But now I feel like it doesn't call my attention in any way. I don't feel sensations. I don't feel a throb. I don't feel anything with it.
Interesting. So yeah, you just are experiencing it in a completely different way.
Yes, completely different, much
Right.
more peaceful.
Right. So there isn't the anxiety, there isn't the fear or the worry.
No,
Nice.
no. And I do remember in the beginning when we had started, when I would visualize it, I would see it as like, if I were to put a face on it, like a sad face. But now I always visualize it as it's like sleeping peacefully. It's just so it's completely calm, it's relaxed, and I feel like that has helped my brain to feel like, oh, there's nothing to worry there. It's completely fine. It's completely safe and at peace. I was able to be educated on what I was doing internally, on a cellular level, on an emotional level, what I was doing, what loop I was putting myself in, and then having the tools to break that so that I can do another, like a more peaceful loop for myself instead of just being in the same anxiety, crazy thought process. My younger son is 9, and I think he learned from me how to worry. So he's a professional worrier at 9 years old too. And there's been a lot of times where he would feel maybe a pinched nerve and he would be like, I can't breathe. What's happening? I'm scared, or just certain things with his body that he would feel extremely concerned about. And so I was able to utilize the stuff that I learned from the brain training and help him relax, help him to calm down, help him to kind of have his own new way of putting himself in a positive loop rather than his anxiety, his worry, um, and get him to just feel a lot more peaceful about his sensations. And that has helped him very, very much. And so it's to the point now where he's the one um, he's the one almost sometimes reminding me to what he needs to do, or um, he will ask me, he will immediately turn to me for help because he knows that it helped him the last time. So he's built a lot of proof within himself that this works. I'm happy for him. He's going to be able, I know he's going to be able to self regulate when he gets older. I know that because this doesn't only work necessarily for health sensations, it can work for anything. I know that anytime he feels heavy emotion, he'll be able to, regulate himself. He'll be able to make peace with what he's experiencing. And I'm happy for him that he'll be able to be, from my perspective, a much more mature, functioning, successful adult because he can manage his own emotions and he can interrupt any patterns in his thinking that would not be, helpful for him. I want to just say that I think everything that I've learned about the brain and how to work with it and what to do in situations when we need to interrupt, maybe a negative thought or anything like that, or even how to use the brain to, from what I've learned from the brain training to get what it is that we want, what we desire. Um, it's such valuable information, and I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful to have been able to learn that, from you. And thank you so so much. I'm so happy that I was able to work through that, all that stuff with you and with the brain training, learning all that stuff with it.